Let's go. Welcome to Amateur Opinions. This is your host, Deuce. I got my girl, Dani Bagel, in the house. Welcome back to the show.
Take two.
Yeah, take two. We're back at it. You were here last week. It was great. And
I'm 10:33.
Yeah. Happy birthday. How was your birthday?
It was good.
Oh, this is crazy. This is absolutely crazy. Yeah. So last week we spoke. It was basically an introduction into like what you're about, you know, what you like. But I didn't ask you, is Dani Bagel your actual real name?
No.
Oh, it's not. Okay. Because I was like, how can a name sound so cool?
It's a good, exactly. I have a lot of friends that thought I had a really cool name for way too long.
Yeah.
People that are like my close friends. And they get mad at me that it's not Bagel. They're like, it's the coolest.
Yeah.
So my full name's Danielle Gabriel.
Danielle Gabriel.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Dani Bagel was just a name my friend gave to me at my ComServe. And then I just found it always to be like available online. So for the past since 2010, 2009, it's just been there. So.
And no need to say Dani Bagel 01 or something.
Nope,
you know what I mean?
because I was the first one.
Yeah, clean.
Because I'm that old that I was still on MySpace.
MySpace. Oh,
so
damn.
I kind of just capitalized.
I feel so young.
Do you want to know how it worked?
Please. I've been looking for a dinosaur to interview.
Wait, this is like a joke that you've never been on MySpace though.
No, like seriously. No.
Oh.
Like Facebook I was just at the age to be.
I was in second year varsity and I told people about Facebook. I was very cutting edge in my technology.
Yeah,
I'm an early
clearly.
adopter.
Damn.
MySpace, it was. How do you describe this? I was friends with Kim Kardashian. You could have 8 like friends. Kim Kardashian, Goldfish,
Right.
Paris Hilton.
Uh-huh.
And like you could add these people and then leave stickers. But the way you did it is that you had to open your profile. You could like make it colorful and edit, and then go find a I don't know how you find it, but you find the code and you right click it and then you paste the code into the thing, and then you literally build from the back end. Like yourself. Why are you laughing at me? You literally used to build, if you wanted glitter emojis, like you could actually, I didn't know what any of that was for. It was a lot of dots and dashes. But it gave me a fridge magnet where you could leave memories.
Wow.
It was very cutting edge. But yeah, it was cool. MySpace, you could play your music, your favorite music on the thing. I have like a little bar.
Is your account still live?
I actually searched for it. I think so, but also like I know Justin Timberlake bought it over. So now I think there's like, remember, because then they switched the purpose of MySpace to be less like social networking, to more like music hosting and.
Oh, is that what it's doing?
Yeah,
now?
yeah.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah, so
okay.
I don't know if what's awful is that at its prime is where the duck part was very much part of the front facing camera. So there's a lot of drunk club photos. Oh,
there's a lot of those.
Yeah. When Jaeger Bombs started, that's like I think we started Jaeger Bombs. Like that was like cool too.
Damn.
I feel like I'm very old. We used to send SMSs. Do you know what those are?
What are those? I've heard of those. I've heard my granddad talking about those. Okay, yeah. So in terms of so the bagel is like
it's just a cute little name that sounds cool and stuck.
and it has like a Gabriel Bagel.
Yeah. I think also people would always rhyme my name Danielle Gabrielle, and then my friend just kind of it's stupid, but yeah, it's stuck.
So your friend is the one who named you that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and we're still friends. She's the first person I spoke to my first day of varsity. We're still friends. In fact, we work together.
Like
it's a really
same
cool,
company.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Nice.
It's pretty cool.
Okay, so in terms of so I know you like talking about the whole like the women.
Who doesn't?
The whole women. So what's your take on the whole like narrative of like women like having to basically like look out for each other, like in a broad sense?
Is this like in the Happy National Women's Day? We remember there's women around, you know.
More like in a
I'm joking. Because there's a lot of that.
There's a lot of that, yeah. More like in industry. So let's say in your experience at least.
I think the difficulty is that by the time females in the industry and I'll use like females as the feminine spectrum because that's also will be inclusive.
Yeah.
We don't have the time. But females, by the time we meet each other, we were always only the only girl amongst the guys in those spaces in whichever tangent they are. And by the time we get to each other, there's been so much that you've collected, like a little like a dust bunny of bullshit and survival that like all you understand is how to be offensive and defensive and I know your type, and then you get better because you didn't want to get played like the last time, and then you started over applying it. So I think the difficulty is always, you must never leave that because that's street smarts. It's kept you alive, necessary, but I think you just have to be more honest and get better at understanding who you, because there's definitely people that like I just don't like, my favorite. And I was actually having a conversation with someone the other day. She's like, why don't you like this person? And I'm like, it's not that I don't like them, it's just that not enough has happened in those times that I haven't interacted for me to like you.
Right.
Like, you're a cool person and I appreciate and I can respect all your things, but like, you're not my brand. It's okay.
It's fine. Not everyone's gonna be.
Don't like, this is it's like when you go to preschool, like they like juice too. And that just made it anatomy. Because what's so weird is like I was never like the popular girl at school, even though like I was the person that integrated across it because I played first team hockey, so I was amongst the jocks, and I played football with the boys, so I was like the cool chick that played football. Then I was like the cultural winning awards for piano, and I stayed for it. So like I was very like all over the place, and that is attributed to like my ADHD, and like I'm grateful for it, because it always provided me like a spectrum of humans and people that I've gotten to interact with. So like my best friend leaving school was a guy that we became friends because I was like became his tutor, from like grade 11, because I wanted to get into physio. So I was like, the only way I can get better and force myself to study, because like concentrating was hard, and I didn't know that. I just thought that meant hard work, was teaching this guy who was failing. So for 2 years we would meet up, and then that would just mean that I was putting in the hours way before that's when mixers started, and that just like, it's interesting. So where were we? My sister says she finds it difficult to be friends with girls. So do you find the same thing? Like is it easier to be friends with guys or to be friends with girls? I've always been like that. I think my foundation was my family or cousins. There was always just like this ratio. But my interest as a kid, like I was always a tomboy, and then when my family moved to PE, we were the first like non-white kids at my primary school, and we were like a bunch of Indian kids, and then the other one was my age, and so we were on our bikes, and then we were doing tree houses and catching frogs, and I didn't have Barbies because Barbies were expensive, and the only Barbie I had, I wet its hair and then then I cut its hair. So I mean, like,
did you at least style it?
I couldn't, because it was like that broom. You stop trying to make a plant.
It was wrecked.
Like, to put it in context, I've played around like in guys' spaces so much. My dad always tells this a story about when I was asleep on his lap in church one time, and he felt something poking him, and then like he lifted my dress, and there was a plank in my panty. And he's like, "What is this?" And I'm like, "It's my gun." I was like 4 or 5 years old, So I think I've had to learn to be friends with girls because I was very much on the wrong end of the mean girls at school. What
would they do?
Two times. Once they had like a picnic and they just forgot to tell me. Like one of those. And I was like, oh, okay. And also I was that asshole that was like, I was the only brown one. Like, looking back when the conversation would be like, oh, we like her because she's not like the other colored girls. And like an asshole, I was like, oh, that's such a cool compliment. I'm like, you with racist.
Yeah, but pretty much. That's what it is.
It was like, oh, she's not like those ones, man.
It's like when people tell me, you speak so well.
So well for it, yeah. And what was weird is like when I moved to Cape Town, the girls that like I was assigned to when I got to the end of, because I got here back in end of primary school. And then I went to the school where I started at like a Model C school, and in PE as well. So
what's a Model C school?
Model C school was the in between private and government. So it wasn't as expensive, but it would always have like a good legacy and a very good curriculum. And we had swimming and tennis and music and orchestra, and you could play flute. You know, there was like a lot of opportunity for. We had computers, we had smart starts, and we learned how to save things onto floppy disk when I was in grade 1.
Right. Okay, great.
And you weren't allowed to put your finger through the middle of the hole. I still don't know why.
Yeah, because it like messes up with the magnetism and all that stuff. Yeah. At least I know that. Only because I studied it in history class. No, I'm kidding. Okay, I want to start with the old jokes.
So where do we go? Oh yeah, so then just like those interests and stuff. So by the time, going back, segue.
Yeah.
Female artists, there's I think just so much that's happened to women to have to get to that point where you also at that stature where you meeting each other at cool places. But I don't think enough people take ownership of the healing that comes with that, so that you still connect with people in spite of trauma. That all you're meeting is like the pain body.
Yeah.
That's a little bit catty and a little bit backhand with this compliment. Oh, you're so cute. We're the same age. Don't tell me I'm cute.
Yeah. So I know you're in the music industry, right? Like I'm sure you know the whole Nicki Minaj and Cardi B.
Yeah.
So basically, I've seen it happening a lot, where like a new emerging female like rapper comes up, and then automatically they're comparing her to Nicki Minaj or whoever's the top act at the time, right? And then naturally that ends up building a bit of animosity, like between the actual artists. But then I've always felt like, especially for the Nicki one, Cardi B didn't attack her, like for starters, right? It was more of Nicki Minaj. She felt a bit threatened.
But that's the thing, is that like threatened up till that point by who? If you're so threatened that I'm gonna moor you, trust me, I don't have to do it like when I'm dressed up in my heels and my Louboutins, like. Do you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Also, I know how to fight a little bit. So.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I did jiu-jitsu, so I'm just going to choke you out.
Oh, did you end up... So you
oh, yes. Oh, that is funny. That's how far we were. Anyway, long story short, I spent so much time there. Put on the gi, and then I learned how to fall properly and choke people out.
How much can you do? Like,
I got my blue belt.
Oh,
look, I haven't been in a while, so my fitness is nowhere near. I'm just gonna lay there, know how to defend myself really well.
Yeah.
I can hold a good curled up in a potato ball.
Can you do like a proper like a choke hold?
Yeah, those are fun.
The guillotine, do you know the guillotine?
Guillotine. We actually, my boyfriend and I did it. The other day we were like playing around like properly.
Oh shit.
And then also like it's like this cute thing, I'm not gonna tap to my girlfriend, and then you're like
yeah.
So I don't know. Yeah,
he's not amused
because he lost twice.
Oh, it's like I'm gonna get you back at home. Oh damn. It's like I just started.
But yeah,
something.
like that was a very cool thing to learn, like I think, as an empower myself, because like what's so interesting about, like, I really encourage jiu-jitsu for every person that thinks that it's not hard, and every person that's intimidated by it, because like it's one of the most beautiful things that you can do. But it teaches you how to be a fighter, and that's I think also why encountering other women, they've only been on the receiving end of having to defend themselves. They don't know what it's like to fight and win. And I've done that against guys who are 20 kilograms more than me.
Was that in competition or?
Oh no, it would be training.
Or just like
so they would never make
vibes.
Females and males compete. But I've definitely been like the lightest in my category before. And there's times where like, if all you can do is lay still and not get submitted for 8 minutes, that is the win. That is the win.
Yeah.
You know,
I follow the UFC and stuff.
Yeah.
So I've come to respect jiu-jitsu a lot more than actual striking.
Beautiful.
You know what I mean? And I've noticed in MMA, if a striker is pit up against a grappling artist, like a jiu-jitsu master, more often than not the jiu-jitsu guy wins, because it's just such a great
things change in your mind, like your plan changes when you get hit in the head, because you can't make sense, and
game plan.
And I think that's also like, it comes down to connecting with like, what are you at like your most raw and your most vulnerable and your most disadvantaged. People do not know what that looks like. I've seen that plenty of times with somebody else's sweat in my mouth. Like, that's a lot to prioritize, because you can tap out at any point. And this is the other part, is like, I have like, I've got a tattoo on my arm that says defeat is for the valiant. right?
Yeah.
And it's so true. Like, defeat is only reserved for the brave and the people that go outside things that, like, they shouldn't have won it, or like to go meet the battle. And like the problem with, you gotta look out, uplift each. We were having this conversation.
Yeah.
Uplift other women. I don't know what that looks, because I cannot fight your fights. I'm not gonna be the person that's gonna beat up on everybody else with you. Like, and you see that in like social media, for example, where the mob mentality. You do one thing wrong and everybody got an opinion about it.
Yeah.
Very ignorant. Very, so unbalanced. I'm not asking you to not have bias, but an unbalanced opinion is just, it's reckless and it's selfish and it's all those things where there's no perfect track record, but I hold myself to, I will have something to say, but I'll always try and be balanced about it. It will be balanced in the sense of, we're just joking about it, or if it's something that like I don't know enough of, it's just not my business to dictate.
Yeah.
And like some people, I don't think pay enough attention to those fundamentals, which then puts into motion how I behave towards you as a person.
Yeah. And I see that issue in the far left.
Yeah.
I've been, because I'm a big fan of comedy. Right?
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I feel like the less offensive it is, I find it less funny. So like even I don't know if you saw the Dave Chappelle.
Not yet. We were having a conversation about it yesterday.
Yeah, I also haven't watched it,
Yeah.
and I
I'm
want
eager.
to. But my friend was telling me that it's like it got like a
It's
lot
uncomfortable.
of backlash. Yeah, it got a lot of backlash.
That's fine.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. You know what I mean? And I've
well, I don't know. I also haven't seen it yet.
I haven't seen it, but I mean, I'm just like, bruh, like.
If ever there's a space to be uncomfortable, it's comedy.
Comedy.
The problem is, and I was having this conversation with my friend who is
Yeah.
a comedian. She says after she watched that, she went back to a book and she scratched everything. She ripped out the pages because we were watching Hannibal Buress and we were playing PUBG last night, but like it was on and I found myself catching, there was some really like, you're just like, yo, this guy. But what I love so much about comedy, and really great comedy, is that it challenges what you thought you decided about a thing.
Norm,
and
yeah.
I like do that because I can always, after you said the thing, and this is the way like the balance, again, the far left and the far right of, at all costs free speech,
Yeah.
regardless of the consequences.
Yeah.
Free speech is the most holy like thing we protect. That the thing can still be said. And then after that you can do whatever the hell you need to.
Exactly.
You do whatever you need to.
Yeah.
As long as the person doesn't have a ability to put like power over it and regulate,
Because that's what's happening, right? They're regulating like what people can say.
Everything.
What people can say. And
it's just distractions from what we need to be doing.
And I'm so glad, you told me like your friend who's a comedian
Yeah.
actually just ripped, like she it's basically inspiration, right?
Totally.
Where you're like, okay, so
I thought I was doing a comedy set, but like, yeah.
yeah, and one my favorite comedian, I don't know if you know Andrew Schultz. He's he's a comedian. He's freaking crazy, and he does the same thing where he, even on his set, excuse me, on his set, I remember he likes roasting his audience, like every once in his show he always gets like a guy who will do something funny and then he'll like roast him for a bit. So and he says no one's safe, right? So he calls his sets like unsafe sets. So even he had a guy on a wheelchair.
Oh, but those are the best.
Those are the best,
Those are
right?
the best.
Those are the best. And but you'll find criticism on like online of, no, you can't do that, you can't say that. But it's like because here's the thing, like the guy in the wheelchair, he wants to be treated like everyone else. You know how good it will feel.
Exactly.
Like,
They
we're like,
roasted me too.
Yeah, people are always like, nice, like, oh no, should I help you out? Should I?
Yeah.
Now he's just being treated like everyone else.
I think that comes down to why you can have somebody who's racist just because they don't know. When people get accused of racism, the answer is always, I have a black friend.
I have a black friend, yeah.
Why? Because it shows that I integrate with said people or
Yeah.
said thing that you are assuming that I don't know enough about
Yeah.
to be in the safe zone, to be
Yeah.
accepted. But it's like, my grandfather's blind, right? And so but at the same time, while him being a blind person in my family, he's still one of the most inspirational, most educated, most, somebody that like pushes forward. But I mean, when he the one time, like he'll make tea for the family, and he'll be like, "How can he?" I'm like, "This man has a degree. He's traveled in London by himself for like 30 years. He went to and from work safely. Like
The least he can
tea.
do is
he can handle tea.
He's the least of his worries.
And then like I'll never forget the one time where my gran drank her tea and she was like, has the milk gone off? And my mom drank and she's like, no, it's guava juice. And we were finished because like my grandfather picked up the same shaped carton, and then what he did, he would pour until like a point where he would touch his finger, you know, and like you realize that that's still funny. You know, my gran was like, she was losing her hearing, and so then the time my grandfather tripped over a suitcase, he asked her to move it and she brought back a tube of toothpaste. You know, those are like genuine human funny like that's I think hilarious. There's so much trauma attached to everything, and there's not enough like self-healing and ownership of the fact that you went through some shitty shit, but like at the end of the day, you still have the capacity to come back and play with everybody else in the fact that like we laugh at the stupid things because that's how you know you've healed, is when you get to laugh at the pain. And if we're not allowed to laugh at it, it's like we're not done being in pain. And that's a very dangerous thing because like chronic pain is dysfunctional. It's damaging, it's destructive. Pain is a warning sign on a basic physiological level. Like it's to warn you from trauma, from damage, from dying. But you cannot be so overly sensitized and quote unquote triggered. Triggered. Trigger warning. Triggered. You know, like, because then what are you going to do? Become an agoraphobe to be safer? The world always just has to create like a safe space that makes space for you 7 billion times. We're sitting, the Amazon is on fire.
Amazon's on fire, people.
Not all the time. You know, everybody's got their own level of, and I think there's a lot of people expecting for somebody else to take responsibility for all the pain that somebody else has inflicted upon them, perceived or actually like, you know, experienced. But they just keep moving the goalposts, which I think is so much more destructive and takes us further. I won't say it takes us backwards, but it doesn't take us forwards in any direction. So in the same way, industry and working with this type of, just be a person that's not like, don't be an asshole. Every person comes back down to that. Just treat me with this honor my gift, honor my time, respect that I'm coming to the party with. It doesn't matter if it's on a relationship level, then again it becomes like more a fundamental philosophy, you know. But you still need to go make your mistakes.
That's how you learn.
You have to learn. But I think the maturity that comes with it, and the difference between being somebody that's like an accomplished man that like people admire versus being a fuckboy, is that someone like Jay-Z owns the fact that he sold crack. You know, and that doesn't deter the path because he's still very much in control of creating and, you know, nurturing the space he is in control, because he can't control that much. However, it would be nice if we built like a rehab center for the generational like addiction that he might have solved in his community.
That would definitely help.
There's some crack babies that were born as a result of Jay-Z, which is kind of weird. Like, it's kind of weird.
Now it's fine not to do. I mean, chicken man. Okay, so what's your go-to karaoke song?
My go-to?
A karaoke song.
I hate karaoke because I can sing.
Oh, karaoke is for people who can't sing.
Karaoke is the best for people that would never have sang out in public, and I don't like singing out in public in general. I don't.
How does that work as a musician?
Very badly.
That doesn't sound like a great.
I always like talk about while you're on stage, and then like there's a performance, because I go into stead foot mode and I know how to perform my work for people. But like behind, it's like, I fucking hate doing this. Why are you up here? You said it was the last time. This is bullshit. You hate it. There's a whole backwards performance of like deer in the headlights. Like, why is no one dancing?
Have you ever bombed in a performance?
I don't know what that looks like, because Cape Town is just a very poor receptor. Like, people don't Joe Burgers. So I find the more sober the crowd, the harder to like evoke that. Because like what's weird is that people always come back after and be like, that was amazing. I'm like, my bro, he could have clapped. Or like show some love during the freaking performance. You know what I mean? I've never not had people clap for me. I don't know what bombs is. Maybe it's a putty clap. I'll go home with that. It's fine. But like bombing, I think also comes down to like how much you enjoyed it. There's definitely performances that I didn't like, or I didn't enjoy the process. But like I never left there and people left with the feeling of like, she's a bad musician. you know.
Did you see Fergie at the All-Star
I've
game?
never done that.
Oof.
I will, yeah.
Oh, that was
But
unbelievable.
see, she continued to live.
Yeah.
I mean, we laugh about it on a meme on
Yeah.
Twitter.
That was great. I loved it.
That's what risks look like.
Oof.
I
Wow.
can't solve it. I can't save it. I've tried. You know what the worst part with those kinds of things is that I really try hard to find the positive in it, and when it's so bad, it's like there's nothing. I was like, maybe the positive is I've never heard it sung in that key before. Thank you for the experience.
Yeah.
No shame.
And so how often do you perform, or do you perform?
I do. I realize that it's not my dream to perform in a festival.
Okay.
Unless I'm being like called on for the smash hit that I'm the vocalist of, because like, why not? But I think my favorite type of performance is with like people that just like music. I don't like, I think it also comes down to like how I know performances to play out, which is you have your music book and you walk up and you sit down and then everyone pays attention. This cuck of you talking while I'm being like,
Like,
I don't know how this works.
Yeah.
Like, are you do not care? Do I need to sing louder? You know?
Yeah.
So yeah, that's just one of those. So
Okay.
people book me. So I've done like the 12 Apostles. And that was nice, but like again, is it my favorite because it's the fanciest? No. It was cool to say I played when there was sunset and then I played classical music, and then like the manager's like, don't you have songs with more words? And I'm like, I'm gonna get to those, because I was like, you know what? I'm playing at the 12 Apostles.
Yeah.
And someone's paying me to do this, to play songs that I know. So I'm going to do it on my time, if you don't mind.
And do you have a band?
I don't have a band. I've played with a band.
Okay.
Love that. Love that. And especially, there's like nothing more of a musical boner that I get when like musicians come and they just know their shit, man. They know key changes. I don't have to count you in. Like, or I'll be like, I want to change the timing to this. And it just falls in together. Oh, it's so, I'm so grateful for being like, you let me play. Oh my God, do they know how bad I am at this?
I performed once at my friend's. So my friend, group of friends I have, they have a party, New Year's party. So that's the only time they perform. They just come together. They perform once a year, New Year's Eve. And so it's a bunch of white guys. And so they usually play like rock type of, like, or punk, that kind of. So they had one song, you know, what's this song? Gorillaz, Feel Good Inc.
Yeah.
So there's a rapping verse.
Yeah.
So they're like, let's look for a black guy who's our friend. He could probably rap. So they hit me up. They're like, yo, can you do the verse on Feel Good Inc.? I was like, no, not at the moment, but I can learn. And then I'll do it. So this was in, obviously, New Year's Eve. So I was actually back home in Zim at the time. So I booked my flight to be on the 31st. So I landed in Cape Town. Landed in Cape Town at like 7 o'clock. The performance was at probably 9. So I get there. And they've rehearsed and all. Like, they sent me the backtrack so that I could practice.
It's not the same though.
It's not the same. Absolutely not the same. So we get it, like, Glenn, did you learn the track and the timing and everything? I was like, look, I'll try my best. I'll see how it goes. So we start, and then it gets to my part. So I start rapping. Everyone goes crazy, you know. And then so there's actually two rapping parts. So the second part, there's timing involved, because it's like ding, ding, ding. So I kind of missed the beat. So I was like, don't stop. And then I realized I started too early. So I was like, don't stop, don't stop, get it. So then it looked like I did it on purpose, because I just went, don't stop. And
people were like,
people are like, oh, I like that. And then even so, like, so there's a video of it, and then like the guy on the guitar, when I started early, he was like, oh. And then I said, don't stop. Then he saw me like going again, like, don't stop. He's like, don't stop. Then he goes, yeah. So that was funny.
Like, those are the things that, like, while you're having beers, like, remember when I was going on?
Yeah. It was so much fun. I loved it. Yeah.
I think I want to do more of that, but just like without the pressure. Just pay me to pitch up and be good. I'll do that.
Right.
I like rehearsals the most, funny enough. I think I hate performances, because performances always just come with so much anxiety. But that's also like where it's important to have a system and know what you're good at and bad at. Like I said, I've got ADHD, so like understanding like executive planning of prioritization as to what we need, from the most important thing to the smallest thing that's equally, like, I'm not that guy.
Yeah.
You know, so like definitely my boyfriend is, when like we both have it, but like we kind of shift into gear for when it's like my turn to be that. You just need to be, it's a bit pretentious, but like just be the artist right now, just execute your role. So like as another, when we get there, it's all set up, it's just too much admin. Like have a room, and then you in like your tracksuits and you're making fun of each other's singing, and let me try it in your style, you know, like I just like playing, because it's kind of also like live music has just got such a completely different energy, you know. So maybe we should do like online ones or like behind a screen, so that you're kind of in the room, so you can talk as much as you want. Don't bother me, but we'll provide the music.
Yeah, that'd be sick. All right, Dani, thanks so much for joining me.
Thank you.
What's your Instagram for the people?
Instagram is at Dani Bagel, DaniBagel, and then Twitter is Miss Dani Bagel.
Miss Dani, is that MISS or MS? MISS. Okay, Miss Dani Bagel. All right, thanks so much for joining me. Appreciate it.
Thank you for having me back.
Yeah, it's a pleasure. It's a pleasure. I'll have you on again for sure.
Because we will hopefully finally get to the point of the podcast.
Yes.
Instead of a long intro.
Exactly. Oh, man. Crazy. All right. Thanks so much for joining me. These are Amateur Opinions. Take it or leave it. Peace.
Bye.